And joining us now, Milton Robinson, the state director of the American Legion Boys State. Hey, Milton, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Gerard. Thanks for the invitation.
You bet. So first, tell our audience about the history of Boys State, exactly how the organization was formed, what it does.
Absolutely. Thank you. So the American Legion is the backbone of the Boys State program, and the American Legion founded it early in the late 1930s, and it began in the Midwest, and Mississippi started it in 1938, and we've been going ever since. The American Legion are the primary sponsors for the boys to attend Boys State, and we call them delegates here, but they're the American Legion are the primary sponsors, and they're our backbone. They are what keep us going every single day, and they serve their country, and now they're continuing to invest back in their country, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us about the Boys State happening it's at Ole Miss this year, I believe, right?
That's correct. We'll be at Ole Miss for this year and the next 2 years, so 3 years total, and we're excited to be here. Ole Miss has treated us very well, and they truly believe in this next generation, and they invest in that, and we're glad for it. But yes, to your question, the program's going very well this year. We've got just under 300 delegates, and 40 or so of my volunteer staff are all here, and we are rocking and rolling. And just yesterday, they had their elections. They elect Big 8 positions from Commissioner of Insurance to Governor to state legislators, and they've gotten to hear from some great people this week. And yesterday we had our elections, and essentially the program is in their hands right now. They are given the task to pass a budget. They have to fund some city projects, and they're looking at the issues that we provide them each year, and they're writing legislation and discussing these topics. It's a great week.
And so these are rising seniors, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, Gerard. So current juniors, rising seniors across Mississippi, young men who excel in academics and in leadership and in their communities. We're a program for everyone. And I tell parents when they check their kids in on this past Sunday rather, that we have the best and the brightest. But if you have a son, if you have a child or a student as a high school counselor that seems to be struggling, but they show the smallest signs of leadership, we want them here at Boys State, and we have had a great group. We've got one of our highest average GPAs this year here at Boys State with this group of delegates, and we're proud for that and proud for them, but there's always more to do. There's always more to learn to be good leaders in Mississippi.
Yeah. And you've got some present elected officials scheduled to address the group as well, correct?
We do. So the elected officials that have spoken to us so far would include State Auditor Shad White. He's a great supporter of our program. We had State Senator Rod Hickman from Noxubee County. We had Attorney General Lynn Fitch yesterday and Commissioner Willie Simmons as well. And we've got some more that are coming later this week. Representative Shana Geary, who's also on my staff here at Boys State, and Mayor George Flaggs from Vicksburg. Those are the elected officials, but we've got some great leaders that are also here on the Ole Miss campus, and former elected officials like former Chief Justice Bill Waller Jr. will be speaking later this evening. The boys just got done hearing from David McGee here at Ole Miss at the McGee Institute. Gave him a really great talk, and these boys were drawn into that conversation. And you might be familiar with David McGee and his story about his family and their struggles and their triumphs now and overcoming those things like addiction. But we're talking about real issues here at Boys State, and they heard that from David McGee, and I don't think there was a distracted mind in that room just a few moments ago.
Do you feel like that any that are in attendance, have they shared that they have some future political aspirations?
Oh, I would imagine so. There's quite the passionate group here at Boys State. We've got a great group. I would say that quite a number of them have some aspirations when they walked into Boys State, and maybe a few more of them have aspirations when they leave. But we are kind of a politically minded, civic minded organization, and we certainly talk about that. And as you've just heard, they hear from our state leaders and elected officials. But we are more than just a political program, a civics program. We at the core of it, we're a leadership program.
Yeah.
We're going to just speak into these boys' lives when they're at this pivotal time and they're facing decisions about their future, whether to go to school or to the workforce or what to do next. We're instructing them and guiding them to take responsibility today. Leaders don't wait for permission to lead. and that's what we're trying to get across to these young men.
Yeah. Do they, Milton? Do they dive into any discussions of current policy issues in the state or at the federal level? Do they discuss that, debate that, deliberate that, just as they would? Yeah, tell us about that.
Yes, sir. So I know two specific issues that are within our issues this year, and some of them we've had for years here and there. We're talking about infrastructure is one topic, one of our issues, and how to fund infrastructure, how to fund roads and bridges. So one of the issues that they're debating right now is whether to implement a gas tax. And there's been some colorful debates on that. Some are sticking to how things work, and some are not. But that's where our staff try to step in and guide them along. So they're talking about infrastructure and a gas tax. How are we going to fund roads and bridges? How are we going to fund the state of Magnolia, the fictitious state of Magnolia's roads and bridges? Another topic, we're talking about probation reform, what they can do to help low-end offenders and getting them and reintroducing them back into society in a safe way, in a responsible way that is beneficial to society and beneficial to that individual. Yeah. Those are two of the topics that they're talking about. They're also talking about Medicaid expansion, if that's something that these young men want to pursue. And these aren't topics that we bring up because of the current political climate, but they're certainly being discussed. And as these young men hear these discussions, maybe around the dinner table, it's good for them to have their voice and find it and be able to articulate that on whichever side of those issues they would be. We don't do any guiding in one way or direction in any sense. We give them the issues and we let them decide, and they've had some good debates on those topics.
Well, I'm glad they picked some non-controversial topics, right? So.
Exactly. We're not shying away from things, and it's been good. It's been very good, Gerard.
Well, that's how you learn, as you well know, right. And also we've been talking about it on the program. I mean, our elected leaders honestly have to come out of the closet, so to speak, and take on some of these thorny, sensitive issues that people want them to address, and that's difficult. And I'm sure that the boys will find that situation to be the case as well. And so I assume then, Milton, that you got people that participate that come from multiple or diverse political views and positions.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir. So we try to split things up, and we're not as I said earlier, trying to sway people in one direction or another. Yeah. We're just trying to present the issues, and our speakers come in and they might touch on those topics themselves. They might strictly speak to leadership and things that they wish they knew at that age. That's a common topic for their speeches. But we certainly do, and we've had all political sides come in and speak, and we have young men from all parts of the state, and for them to see them there and have some representation and hear both sides is a great thing. These young men are 17, 18 years old, so they're going to be voting very soon here. Yeah. And we want them to be prepared for that and knowledgeable in that way.
Well, and then tell me about this. It's my understanding that a couple of delegates get elected and actually will go to Washington.
That's correct. So that's called Boys Nation. Okay. So at the end of the week, that's pretty much our most prized position here at Boys State. Our Boys State delegation are divided into cities, and our cities are named after the speakers here for this year. So the city will get together Friday evening on our last night, and they'll sit in their hallways and they're going to listen to a few speeches or a great many speeches from their fellow delegates in their city, in their small group, and they're going to portray to them why this young man should be given the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and represent Mississippi. And then they'll go before, we have 10 cities, so those 10 young men will go on stage and present their case to the whole delegation, and then they'll vote on that. And the top two winners of those votes will be the primary winners to go to Boys Nation, and then we'll select two others as alternates. And there's scholarship dollars involved with that, and many of the other positions here at Boys State. But Boys Nation is an incredible program, and all states around the country support it, and we're happy to do so and make sure that we have good representation in Washington later this summer for Boys Nation.
Yeah. Man, it sounds like it's going to be a great deal. Milton, appreciate you joining us today and giving us a rundown there. And good luck to all the boys who participate in this. And we'll probably check in with you at some point afterwards to see how all that went. I'm kind of curious to how all the deliberations go on these rather thorny topics. It ought to be good.
We'll let you know what bills come out of the legislature. It'll be a fun time. I'm happy to have that conversation.
Talk to you soon. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, Gerard. Have a good one. Thank you.
We're coming right back in the Element Wealth